because I think that was another element to it, that I thought I needed alcohol to be social, to be fun, when in actuality, I'm that girl. And this is before Beyonce made that song, but I've been that girl, always will be that girl. I am that girl. 40 days sober, no alcohol. And why I chose this as one of my goals for the next 40 days. This all started back in like 2017 when I was just at the peak of my partying days. I was out almost, I would say 4 out of the 7 days, if not 7. And if I wasn't out during the week, I was definitely out Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day, all night, socializing, partying, drinking. And it got to the point where it was super excessive. I wasn't happy with where I was in life. I wasn't exceeding or excelling in any areas of life. I was just kind of existing. So I realized that at this point in time, something's got to give. And I knew I was going to quit my job the following year. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know why. I was just feeling it. It was kind of a whisper at that point of something I knew I needed to do. So at this point, I'm still developing and relearning what my relationship looks like with God, and how to pray, when to pray, what to pray about. So I couldn't say that my faith was as strong back then as it is now, but I will say, you know, how they say in the Bible, the faith of a mustard seed pretty much goes a long way. I realized at that point, like I said, something had to give. I sat down with myself when I realized, oh, I'm quitting my job, January 2018. I officially quit in February. My last day of working at my 9 to 5 was the end of March. So I knew by my birthday month, April, that I was no longer going to be working a 9 to 5. But in order to be successful at that, I had to make some changes. Financially, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially. I lost a lot of friends. I stayed home a lot more. I was taking care of Nana, aka my grandma, while she was sick, and you know, just being around her instead of being around my friends, you know, people I thought were my friends at that time. And I started to really stand up for myself and advocate for myself. You know, if I didn't like something, I was calling it out. And sometimes it'd be, well, how they interpret it as aggressive, or where is this coming from? Because I was always the cool, chill friend, the one that, you know, just showed up and did what was happening, didn't question anything. And as I was entering this new phase of my life, I realized, oh crap, yeah, this isn't fun. This isn't fun. So I started saying no to outings. I started questioning things. I started calling people out on their stuff, whether they were being late or I just didn't agree with something. I would leave parties early. It was just a complete 180 of how I was initially living my life. So one of those big changes I made was no alcohol. And this was in 2018, because 2017 to whenever I had turned 22, it was just every day, day to day. I wouldn't drink at home by myself. I never had the heart to do that. But when I was outside, I was outside, okay? Which meant I was spending a lot of money. I was drinking excessively. I was overweight. I was lethargic. I was lazy. I had no ambition, nothing. So if I was entering this new phase of self-employment, I had to get my stuff together. And one of the goals I made for myself was no drinking. I didn't give myself a limit. I said, I'm just gonna not drink and see what happens. At that point, it was, let me just not drink until my birthday. Then my birthday came around and I was like, all right, let me just not drink until the summer. And mind you, I was more of a recluse at this time. I was isolating myself from the world because I knew things were changing, things were different. I was now running a business. I no longer had a 9 to 5. So there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders that I needed to be present, I needed to be focused for. Not to mention, bonus, I had made more money than I'd ever made and working at my 9 to 5, being self-employed for the first time in my life. And because I wasn't going out, I was staying home more, I was saying no, I was setting boundaries, I was taking care of Nana, I was living at my parents' house to save money. I was still paying rent at my place, but just not being in the city allowed me to save so much money. I have had an up and down relationship with money as well, which I will get into in a different video. But for now, not drinking and making that choice of not drinking saved me so much money. Thankfully, because that money has saved me to this day when business is down and I'm transitioning out of careers and trying different things. So I'm so grateful for that time. So I ended up doing an entire year sober. I started re-socializing, getting acclimated to going out again, started mending old friendships that went sour. I started to just appreciate my mind better when it's in a clearer state of existence without the alcohol, and understanding who I am socially without alcohol. Because I think that was another element to it, that I thought I needed alcohol to be social, to be fun, when in actuality, I'm that girl. And this is before Beyonce made that song, but I've been that girl, always will be that girl. I am that girl. And I needed to cleanse my body, cleanse my mind, fatten up my pockets to know that I am capable of doing this, and I will do anything to maintain it. And if that means no alcohol, then that means no alcohol. So why did I only do 1 year sober, and why am I now doing 40 days no alcohol? So once I hit that 1 year mark, I had no desire to drink. I really didn't. I was traveling to New Orleans for a birthday party, and at the airport, my friend had ordered a mocktail. You know, respect to her, for whatever reason she ordered it. She never really told me if she was doing it to just support me. At that point, I was still debating if I wanted to drink, because it's New Orleans, right? Like, if I'm a drink anywhere, I might as well drink at one of the best places on earth. And if you haven't been to New Orleans, I highly encourage you to make a trip to New Orleans. Food alone, the best place, one of my favorite places on earth. And I've done a lot of traveling in my life, but we're at the airport, and I think we're at Hard Knocks, and she ordered a mocktail, and we were flying a red eye, and she took a sip and she goes, "This tastes like it has alcohol in it." And I was like, "There's no way, because you ordered a mocktail." So silly me, I grabbed the drink and I took a big gulp. There was alcohol in it. So after a year of sobriety, a year of just not drinking, I wouldn't say it was a waste. It was probably the best way to transition back into drinking. But it also kind of sucked, because I was considering possibly doing another 4 months, at least until my birthday in April. And life made a decision for me at that point. And I knew immediately, once I took that sip, that the no alcohol fast had been over. Learning from that experience, I knew how much more time I had, how much more energy, how much more money, how much I felt better about myself mentally, emotionally. So as much as it sucked that I did take that sip of alcohol, it also was a blessing for me to realize, like, oh yeah, I could still quit after this. It's not a big deal. I have built up enough mental strength and restraint and awareness to know that I'm not dependent on this as much as I thought I was. So fast forward to now, 2024, I'm at a point in my life where I have to make big girl decisions, grown woman decisions about my life, my career, my work, how I'm making money. I haven't been happy with my work as a transaction coordinator. I love coaching. I love creating content, but I just haven't been as focused and zoned in and locked in as I need to be. And this 40-day challenge I'm putting on myself to honor these goals, to get me to where I need to be, to take content creation seriously, to take YouTube seriously, to take myself seriously, I had to remove all of the distractions that would get in the way of that. And because I also need to pay down some debt, why would I, spend money in an area that's not going to benefit me? Especially as I've gotten older, when I do drink, I need at least a day and a half, 2 days to recover. And that could just be after a couple glasses of wine. And I'm a tequila. I used to be a Hennessy girl. I can't do the Hennessy like I used to, but I'm all about the Chardonnay, the Prosecco's, Sauvignon Blancs, and tequila. So if I'm just having a shot or it's a turn up, I need at least 24 to 48 business hours to recover. And that's not fun, because now, especially when you're self-employed, you are responsible for your time. And if I'm unable to do something, I now have to be very strategic on when I go out, who I go out with, how much am I going to spend, and make sure I don't go over those budgets. It works sometimes, it doesn't work most of the time, but hey, I'm human and I still like to have fun. And that's the thing, I'm about to be 40, but I still love to party. I still love to turn up, whether there's alcohol involved or not. If there's good music, the sunshine, good people, vibes, I'm gonna be there. Don't get me wrong, just because I'm turning 40 doesn't mean I'm gonna stop turning up. So if you have a party you want to invite me to, hit me up. So now, like I mentioned, 40 days sober will help me to just get realigned, get focused, cleanse my body, allow my body to repair itself and heal from any wear and tear I've put on it. And not adding the alcohol will help me tremendously, as well as buy back some time and energy that I would have lost to either being hungover or just tired. And even experiencing buyer's remorse, spending so much money at the bar or at dinner, happy hours, that adds up, and as much as I have fun and have no regrets, at this point for the next 40 days, I can't have that be my lifestyle. So I'm sacrificing that. I'm still gonna go out and have fun, but it's gonna be without the alcohol. And honestly, for the next 40 days, even if I don't go out or hang out with anyone, I'm okay with that, because I need to be locked in. I need to be zoned in, and that's where I'm at. So if you have any questions about that, if you have something you want to give up for the next 40 days, join me. I think it's important to become one with yourself again. I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but you won't know until you actually do it. And I didn't know that I was basically neglecting myself, hurting myself more through that process